Welcome to the Stoic Golden Tribe, where enduring wisdom meets the strength of presence, and where we uncover the truths modern society refuses to teach men. Let me ask you something. Have you ever walked into a room and felt like no one noticed? Have you ever been with a woman who smiled, talked, maybe even flirted, but deep down you knew you were just another face she'd forget the next day? This video isn't about words. It's about presence. Because the truth is, the most unforgettable men rarely speak. They radiate something deeper, a calm strength, a mysterious edge, a confidence that can't be faked and doesn't need approval. In ancient times, the most respected warriors weren't loud. They didn't need to announce themselves. Their very presence commanded attention, not through force, but through energy. That same power lives inside you, but it's been buried under noise, distractions, and society's demand that you chase instead of attract. This isn't about pick-up lines. This is about becoming the kind of man a woman can't stop thinking about, not because of what you said, but because of how you made her feel just by being there. So in this video, we're going to break down the 4 ancient psychological and emotional layers of becoming unforgettable without saying a word, using the wisdom of history, the realities of modern dating, and the inner game most men never master. Every chapter will challenge you to look within, to understand women on a deeper level, and most importantly, will teach them to build a presence so magnetic, she'll feel it even in your silence. Drop a comment below. Have you ever met someone you couldn't forget, even though they said almost nothing? What made them stay in your mind? And if you're ready to stop being overlooked and start being remembered, hit like, subscribe, and let's dive in. Chapter 1. The Power of Silent Presence. Why women feel it before they understand it. There is a kind of silence that doesn't come from the absence of words, but from the presence of depth. You see, in today's world, everything is loud. People talk to be seen, post to be noticed, overshare to feel significant. But the man who knows who he is, he doesn't need to shout. And that is exactly why people lean in when he walks into a room. A woman can meet a man who checks every box on paper. Good job, polite, well-dressed. But if he lacks presence, she will forget him within minutes. She might appreciate the conversation, but something in her spirit will say, he's like the rest. Now, what is presence? Presence is your ability to be fully grounded in who you are without needing external validation. It's a calm, unwavering energy that says, I know myself. I do not need to perform. When a man walks into a space and doesn't feel the need to impress, he becomes impressive. When he listens more than he speaks, his words gain weight. When he remains emotionally stable while others react, he becomes magnetic. Women are not just attracted to looks or status. They are drawn, often unconsciously, to emotional energy, to how a man makes her feel in his silence. Ancient warriors understood this. The samurai were trained not just in swordsmanship, but in stillness. Before battle, they would meditate, breathe deeply, and enter a state of calm. Why? Because the most dangerous man in the room is not the one yelling. It's the one who is quiet, calm, and alert, because he is in control. That same energy is deeply attractive to women. It communicates something primal. I am safe in his presence, but I also respect his power. She may not say it with words, but she feels it in her body when a man walks by who is unshaken by external chaos. He's not checking his phone. He's not scanning the room for approval. He's simply there, anchored. And in a world where most men are lost in their minds, that kind of presence is rare and unforgettable. You don't need to be a model. You don't need to be rich. But if you can learn to be still in a world that is constantly moving, you will stand out more than 1,000 men talking at once. Now let's talk practically. How do you build this kind of presence? 1. Control your breath. Your breath is the first sign of emotional control. When you're calm, you breathe slowly. When you're anxious, your breath is shallow. A woman can sense this instinctively. Breathe deeply. It grounds your nervous system and your energy. 2. Own your space. Don't shrink. Don't fidget. Whether you're standing in line or sitting in a room, hold your posture. Stand tall, shoulders back, chin level, feet firmly grounded. You don't need to dominate the room. You just need to belong in it without seeking permission. 3. Observe more than you speak. When you observe before you act, you radiate control. Let others speak first. Let the room settle before you engage. You'll notice how women start paying attention, and because you're not reacting like everyone else. 4. Detach from outcome. This is one of the most powerful traits of a man with real presence. When you don't need a woman's validation, when your self-worth isn't tied to how she responds, she will be pulled into your gravity. Because you're not chasing, you're choosing. This chapter isn't about arrogance, it's about alignment. You don't need to be loud to be noticed. You just need to be fully you, steady, grounded, unshaken. Because when a man embodies this, a woman will remember how she felt around him long after he's gone. The way you carry yourself tells a woman everything she needs to know about how you carry your life. And the man who speaks volumes with his silence becomes a story she replays in her mind for years. Drop a comment below. Have you ever felt someone's presence without them saying a word? What did it teach you about real attraction? Chapter 2. The Mystery Effect. Why less is always more with women. There's something powerful about not knowing everything about a man. Something that stirs a woman's imagination, that keeps her coming back. Not because of what he said, but because of what he didn't say. Modern dating has convinced men that in order to win a woman's heart, you need to impress her with constant communication. Texting non-stop, posting your every move, being loud, being available. But that's not what women truly crave. They crave mystery, not confusion, not games, but mystery. The unknown that sparks emotional curiosity. Why? Because the female mind is emotional and intuitive, not linear. When a woman meets a man who doesn't reveal all his thoughts, who doesn't put his whole life on the table in the first 10 minutes, she doesn't lose interest. She becomes intrigued. She starts wondering, who is he really? Why doesn't he try to win me over like the others? What's going on behind those calm eyes? That's the power of less. You don't need to tell her your life story. You don't need to explain your past, your goals, your feelings, not right away. When you keep parts of yourself sacred, you become rare in a world where most people overshare in the first 5 minutes. Think of this like a book. What keeps someone turning the page? Not when everything is revealed in the first chapter, but when every page opens a little more, leaving just enough to wonder what's coming next. In ancient Egypt, kings didn't speak much in public. Their silence added to their mystique. In Roman times, a man who spoke too much was often seen as lacking discipline. True power was shown in restraint, the ability to hold something back. In modern relationships, that still holds true. When a man reveals everything too quickly, emotionally, physically, conversationally, he kills the tension. And tension is what builds desire. Here's something many men overlook. A woman's emotional memory is activated more by what she imagines than what she hears. When you leave space in the conversation, when you pause before answering, when you let silence exist without rushing to fill it, she will feel more and remember you more than if you spoke for hours. This doesn't mean be cold or distant. It means be intentional. Speak with weight. Share with care. And always keep parts of your world private until she's earned it. Because the man who gives everything too soon is forgotten just as quickly. But the man who makes her feel like she's only scratched the surface becomes the question she keeps asking. Now let's look at how to develop this mysterious edge in daily life. 1. Stop volunteering information. Don't rush to explain yourself. If she asks how your day was, don't give her a play-by-play. Say it was good, productive, and leave it there. Let her wonder, let her lean in. 2. Be warm, but not too available. You can be respectful and kind, but still have boundaries. Don't respond to every text instantly. Don't always be the first to initiate. Let her experience the space that makes her feel your absence and long for your return. 3. Let your energy speak first. Walk into the room with intention. You don't need to say much when your posture, your eyes, your calm control say it all. She'll notice. Trust that. 4. Know what not to say. You don't have to share your deepest insecurities or life goals in the first few dates. Let her earn access to your world over time, and that patience, that self-control, it will set you apart. Here's the hard truth. Most men are forgettable not because they're unattractive, but because they're too predictable. They show all their cards too early, they chase instead of attract, and they try to win her with words instead of letting their essence speak in silence. But when you become a man who knows how to hold something back, a man who doesn't fill every space with noise, you become a memory that lingers. Not because of what you said, but because of what she felt and still doesn't fully understand. Drop a comment below. Have you ever been drawn to someone just because of how mysterious and calm they were? Share your experience with us. Chapter 3. The masculine stillness that makes her feel safe and drawn to you. There is a force that women crave more than charm, more than compliments, more than flashy gestures. It's not loud, but it's powerful. Not aggressive, but commanding. And once she feels it, it stays with her. That force is masculine stillness. Stillness doesn't mean doing nothing. It doesn't mean being passive. Stillness is inner mastery, the ability to stay calm in chaos, present in pressure, and grounded in the face of uncertainty. And to a feminine heart that lives in emotional waves, stillness is shelter. You see, a woman can laugh with many men. She can flirt, joke, even date casually. But the man she remembers and she returns to in her thoughts is the one who made her feel safe without even touching her. He didn't try to prove anything. He didn't get emotionally reactive. He just was calm, solid, a mountain she could emotionally lean on, even if only for a moment. In ancient Stoic philosophy, Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rock against which the waves crash. It stands unmoved, and the raging of the sea falls still around it." That is the kind of energy you bring when you cultivate true masculine stillness. And that energy, it's unforgettable. In relationships, women subconsciously test for this. They'll provoke, they'll challenge, they'll stir the emotional waters just to see, can you hold your frame? Not because they want to break you, but because they want to feel your depth. If you break down at the first sign of tension, if you get jealous, angry, or needy, they know he cannot carry the weight of my heart. But when you remain composed, when your emotions don't spill out wildly, she experiences a rare form of peace in your presence. And it's that peace that becomes addictive. You don't have to fix her problems, you don't have to understand every emotion she has, but if you can stand firm when her world feels unstable, if you can give her your attention without losing yourself, you will leave a mark deeper than any romantic words could ever reach. Here's how to develop that level of inner stillness. 1. Practice emotional discipline. This doesn't mean suppress your emotions, it means learn to observe before reacting. When she says something that triggers you, take a breath, pause. Respond from strength, not insecurity. Stillness is not the absence of feeling, it's the control of it. 2. Build your inner world. A man with no solitude becomes emotionally needy in relationships. Learn to sit in silence, reflect, read ancient texts, go on walks without your phone. The more time you spend knowing yourself, the less validation you'll need from others. 3. Detach from control. Women are naturally emotional and changeable. Stillness doesn't mean trying to control her. It means not being controlled by her. Let her feel what she feels. Let her come and go. And know that your sense of self does not rise or fall with her moods. 4. Be present with your eyes, not just your words. Women feel your energy more through your gaze than your sentences. When you look at her with calm attentiveness, she'll feel seen and safe. It's not what you say. It's the presence behind your eyes that speaks. In many ways, stillness is the most seductive form of confidence because it doesn't beg, it doesn't chase, it doesn't ask for reassurance. It says, I am enough. You may join me or not, but I will remain whole either way. This is how unforgettable men are made. They're not trying to entertain women. They invite women into their energy, into their peace, into their depth. And that invitation? It is powerful. It is rare. It is what makes her sit alone in her room weeks later, replaying the memory of a man who barely said a word, yet made her feel everything. Drop a comment below. Do you believe true strength lies in stillness? How do you personally practice staying grounded in relationships? Chapter 4. The Echo of Absence. Why the right energy lingers after you leave. Sometimes the most unforgettable part of a man is how a woman feels when he's no longer there. We live in a world addicted to attention, constant texts, instant responses, daily updates. But what makes a man stand out is not how loud he is when he's present. It's the silence he leaves behind. Let's make something clear. Women don't miss men because of their gifts, compliments, or clever words. They miss men because of how they felt in their energy, and how that energy can't be replaced when it's gone. A man who is calm, composed, deeply grounded, who doesn't try to impress or control, becomes a memory that haunts her softly. He lingers like a familiar song she can't get out of her head, not because it was loud, but because it was true. You see, most men try to be remembered by doing more, but unforgettable men, they focus on being more. When you're gone, a woman will replay how you didn't rush your words, how you made eye contact without flinching, how your silence made her feel more seen than other men's praise, how you never begged, and yet she always wanted more of you. This is the paradox. A man becomes unforgettable, not by holding on, but by having the power to let go without bitterness. And that kind of detachment? It terrifies some women and awakens others, because in your absence, she's confronted with a truth. You didn't need her to feel whole. You welcomed her, yes, but you never chased her. And that makes her question every man who came after. Ancient wisdom knew this. In Taoist philosophy, it's said that the most powerful force is not action, but non-action, not control, but alignment. The sage does not seek attention, yet people follow him. He does not raise his voice, yet his words echo in the hearts of many. Apply that to love. The man who can walk away with peace, who leaves with dignity, who doesn't beg to be remembered, is the one she remembers the longest. So how do you cultivate this kind of legacy in her mind? 1. Always leave with self-respect. Never beg a woman to stay. If she pulls away, let her. If she leaves, respect it. Your presence loses power the moment your dignity is compromised. When you can walk away without losing yourself, your memory becomes more powerful than your presence. 2. Create emotional contrast. Be calm when others are reactive. Be still when others are chasing. Be mysterious when others are trying to explain. Emotional contrast is what makes a woman feel the difference. And difference is what makes you unforgettable. 3. Build a life that speaks louder than your words. When your purpose is clear, your energy changes. A man on a mission who doesn't need attention to validate his worth becomes magnetic, not just in the moment, but in memory. When you leave, your life keeps echoing. 4. Let your absence teach her what your presence couldn't. Sometimes a woman can't see you clearly until you're gone. The noise of the world, the distractions, the confusion, they fade. And suddenly she hears the echo of your calm voice, your strong silence, your unwavering energy. That's when she feels it. He wasn't like the rest. This is what makes you unforgettable without saying a word. It's not about charm. It's not about manipulation. It's about presence, mystery, emotional strength, and above all, self-mastery. Because when a man builds himself into something steady, peaceful, and rare, he doesn't need to speak loudly to leave a mark. He simply walks into a woman's life with peace, And when he's gone, that silence feels louder than any goodbye. She may move on, she may meet others, but deep down she'll remember the one who didn't try to win her, because he had already won himself. Drop a comment below. Do you believe your absence can sometimes say more than your presence? How have you seen this play out in your life? You don't have to chase attention to be remembered. You don't have to speak endlessly to be heard. And you definitely don't need to perform to be desired. The truth is, when a man learns to master his energy, when he finds power in his stillness, when he no longer fears being alone or misunderstood, he becomes a force women remember in silence. This is the essence of the Stoic Golden Tribe, not to make men louder, but to make them deeper, not to teach games, but to return you to your natural power, the kind that doesn't need to speak to be felt. So if you're ready to step into that version of yourself, one who doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't try to prove, but simply is solid, grounded, rare, then walk this path with us. This is not for the weak. It's for the men who want to be remembered without trying to be, who want to be felt long after they're gone. If this message spoke to you, drop a comment below. What was the moment you realized silence could be more powerful than words? And as always, like this video if you felt it. Share it with a brother who needs to hear it. Subscribe to the Stoic Golden Tribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the truths modern society refuses to teach men, because presence is the new power. And you? You're just getting started.